clock. Nobody does it better. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning. But brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
I'm the man of the hour, the man with the power. You speak to me, scholar.
It's showtime, folks.
Welcome to the Grill Out. From the heart of Shillian, West Virginia, here's your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Grill Outs. I am your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty, and I'm joined by one of my illustrious co-hosts, Josh Cole. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing right there.
Yeah, Jason, after however many successful defenses he had, he decided to take this week off.
I know. He's really taken advantage of the championship's advantage, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he came in last week. He looked. He channeled his inner MJF.
Yes, he has been.
Yeah, like he's walking around here saying that he's better than us, and we know it. I mean, you think it's bad on the air? What he's saying, you should hear what he's saying off the air.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, he did have to defend his title.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
At Clash at the Castle. It was in Scotland. And the results are in. And the results...
terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tallied all this up, and for a minute there, I thought I was going to get him.
Yeah.
Like, I did. So, basically, the final score is he won with 4. He got 4 correct. I got 3, and Josh, you got 1.
Yeah.
You were trying. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I even sent his mom, Cody's mom was going to be there. It's like, man, that's a perfect setup for him to quit.
Exactly. No, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
And then CM Punk got involved, which we kind of sort of semi-predicted.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a big thing, like a big to-do. I think that was supposed to be like a big secret, and then it was just kind of a big to-do online. Like, people were, hey, I saw CM Punk over here, I saw CM Punk over here, and yada, 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 bada bing, bada boom. Here he is in Glasgow.
Jason did make the good decision of going with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
I know. That was what put him over the edge. Because I tallied everything up. Him and I both got Damian Priest correct. He retained his title against Drew McIntyre.
I thought you said McIntyre. Okay.
Yeah. You actually said McIntyre.
Yeah.
Him and I think at first he was going to go McIntyre, but then he decided to change his pick or whatever.
Yeah.
He changed his mind at the last minute before he put his final answer in. And hopefully Damian Priest has an okay ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did get caught on the top rope, and according to the press conference afterwards, to him, he said his ankle is trash. So, and he hasn't been looked at by the medical staff or anything yet. So there's that. Bayley did retain her title against Piper Niven. All of us chose Bayley, and then none of us got the Intercontinental Championship match correct. Sami Zayn won that. We all chose Chad Gable. Of course, the I Quit match, you chose AJ Styles. You were very confident in AJ Styles too.
Yeah.
And it was actually Cody who won that. And then, of course, what actually won Jason the title, what helped him retain his title and all of this, was the new WWE Women's Tag Team Championship of Fire and Dawn, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yep.
So, yeah, the next predictions will be Forbidden Door. That'll be June 30th. So far, he's defended the title successfully 4 times?
Yeah. Well, I think one was a tie, I believe, but still.
Yeah. Championships advantage and all of that. Yeah, I think he's got 4 successful defenses, or 3. I mean, I guess you got a technicality there, but he's still the champion, and he's still telling all of us what he actually thinks of himself. And speaking of Glasgow, Drew McIntyre has been inducted into the Scottish Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. This is coming from SEScoops.com. Quote, before his match at WWE Clash at the Castle on Saturday at the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, say that 5 times faster, WWE superstar Drew McIntyre was inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame for Scotland by Glasgow's Lord Provost, Jacqueline McLaren. McIntyre is the 10th inductee and the first active wrestler to receive this honor. The ceremony took place at Edmiston House in Glasgow, Scotland. Tom Stotland, WWE superstar Piper Niven, and Rangers soccer legends Lee McCulloch and Mike Hadley, I'm butchering these, I know, I'm sorry, were also in attendance, end quote.
It's awesome. Was Drew McIntyre's cat in attendance too?
What was he?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, we'll get to that.
Cat dad.
We'll get to the new cat daddy out there. But yeah, so Drew was just inducted into the Scottish Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. Yes, there are 10 wrestlers in there in total now. I don't have the list in front of me. I don't have that. Don't have that information. But he is the first active wrestler to receive that honor. And since Josh wants to already start talking about cats.
I like cats.
I'm okay with cats. My brother has cats. Yeah. And he straight up has a t-shirt. I bought it for him for Christmas. It says Cat Daddy. So he is the crazy cat man, is what he is. He loves his furry friends. But this is just a little fun little story I decided to put in here. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the toughest SOB in the WWE, is a cat dad now. Well, he's been a cat dad for a while.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, he had dogs for pets. Okay, I remember he had Hershey the Wonder Dog when he was doing the Steve Austin show for Sirius XM and them. Well, I think it was for Podcast One, but it was kind of like how this one, it's a podcast, and then it was, routed over to on the air. And then he also had a dog named Sam in the early 2000s. I remember watching the documentary. So he had the autobiography, The Stone Cold Truth, correct? Back in the early 2000s?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was called The Stone Cold Truth. And with that, they broke off and made like a 45-minute documentary on his life. It's not as extensive as recent documentaries about him, but it is like one of the first ones. It's actually where the information about what happened to him the night before WrestleMania 19, like the pulmonary embolism and all of that. Yeah. It's actually where that information came from. And he had a dog in there named Sam. So he's not so much of a dog person these days, but he is definitely a cat person. Coming from yahoo.com. Quote, Stone Cold has swapped canines for felines. In a recent pair of Instagram posts, he welcomed the two newest members of his family, two cats. The former WWE champion introduced Macho and Pancho as his newest pets. And everybody's talking about Pancho. Everybody asks about Pancho on Instagram. I follow Austin on there, and yeah, there's like 3 things he talks about. Well, 4, actually, if you count him talking about his ranch. But he talks about his cats. Everybody's always wanting an update
Pancho.
On everybody's wanting an update on Pancho. He's talking about that. He's talking about his beer, or he's also talking about he's racing Kawasaki side by sides in the desert.
Huh?
Yeah. He did an Instagram live or something one day, and he was talking about, it's race season, and it was that was around the same time that NASCAR was kicking off the Daytona 500. I'm like, is he going to start talking about NASCAR? And next thing I know, he's talking about side by sides.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to throw that story.
Macho and Pancho.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that story in there with him. But also, I'm just going to jump down to
beer.
What is it?
Speaking of beer.
Actually, well, so, brother, Hulk Hogan, after appearing on the 700 Club a few months ago, is coming out with his own beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only going to be on select locations. Apparently, they're going to have merchandise come out and everything. It's going to come out in 4 states, West Virginia not being one of them. Sorry, Hulkamaniacs out there. But apparently, it's supposed to expand into other states eventually. So yeah, Hulk Hogan is coming out with his own beer. Yeah. I did not have that on my 2024 bingo card.
Yeah,
a
lot of things weren't on that.
You're right. You're right. Out of everything that's happened this year,
I wasn't expecting this whole WCW thing.
The what is it?
The whole WCW thing.
No, oh yeah. We'll get to that here in a second. We'll get that.
And then all this crossover.
You are throwing so many segues my way right now. No, but yeah, no. When we started the year and we were doing our predictions and everything, nowhere did we say that Hulk Hogan was going to come out with his own beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can go out and get it.
I think it does work for him.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do a taste test.
Yeah. I don't drink anyway, so.
In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I enjoy a tasty beverage every now and then, but I will not be drinking a Hulk Hogan tasty beverage. I'm not. There's nowhere in me that's going to be like, it's going to go to the store and want to get some brewskis and be like, hey.
Watching like 3 years' time, he's like, yeah, I invented beer.
That's true. That's true. He'll eventually say that he was the one who originally invented beer. Brother, much love, HH.
But like
allegedly.
That's the idea for me.
Yeah. We'll get those allegations sooner or later. But yeah, also speaking of WCW, so they Vice TV has this new series come out. It's a 4-part series. The first episode is free on YouTube.
Second's behind a paid wall on their website, Vice's website.
Yeah, and they got to do something to make some money because I think didn't they like file for bankruptcy or something?
Oh, I have no idea.
There was something that that happened with them. So Vice TV they have a new 4-part series out. It's called Who Killed WCW? Executive producer Rock to Dwayne Johnson, and it's basically deep diving into all of it. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
I've only seen the first episode.
Yeah, how was the first episode?
Interesting.
Is it different from what we've been told like the past over 20 years?
I want to say there was something that it'll come back to me here in a minute, but it was a lot of like kind of how WCW basically started and how Bischoff came into play here into what he did and whatnot. It
basically is just kind of setting the pieces for moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I sent y'all that meme the other night of basically all it is a bunch of people saying that it wasn't me and all of this, and then you got Bret Hart sitting there saying y'all are a bunch of idiots. Which, speaking of Bret Hart, there's something that came out with it regarding him and his arch nemesis, Bill Goldberg. Not Goldberg, Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
So basically, they were rehashing the infamous kick that Goldberg did to Bret. In case you do not know, when Bret Hart originally went over to WCW, they didn't really know what to do with him.
Yeah.
They just, full disclosure, they didn't know what to do with Bret Hart, which is crazy because he's Bret Hart. They, put him in a match with Goldberg, and apparently he was, Goldberg had this reputation of being rough with other people, and that kind of worried Bret.
Yeah.
He apparently he had a conversation with Goldberg and everything, and they go on with the match. My understanding for years was that Goldberg did the kick because he throws Bret into the ropes. Bret comes back, he kicks him. That's what caused the concussion, which apparently also Bret wrestled like 10 more times after this.
Yeah.
So, and actually
a hardcore match.
Yeah. I got that. I got a Reddit post I'm going to bring up. So, Bret is he for years, I was under the impression that he just kind of did it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he called the spot.
Yeah.
He told him to watch for the kick.
Bret himself said this.
Yes. It came out of Bret's mouth on this new documentary, Who Killed WCW, him talking and saying that, yes, Goldberg told him, watch for the kick. He comes back, Goldberg kicks him, he falls to the ground.
The funny thing is, like, Bret's like, what do you mean by watch for the kick?
He is the excellent of execution. Yeah. What do you mean watch for the kick? Okay. Full disclosure, I have nothing against Bret Hart. Yeah. But if I know there's this, about the debate between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Like people saying, like, at least maybe it's in my head, that there's like who's better between the two of them. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I've always been on Michael's side.
Yeah.
I don't condone how he behaved early on in his career.
Yeah.
But to me, Shawn Michaels always had more of an edge over Bret. And what my reasoning for that is, Bret, phenomenal technician. Phenomenal. Top 5, easy in the history of professional wrestling. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Cannot deny that. But to me, Michaels edges him out because of his charisma. So that is my thoughts on that. Well, my thoughts on the whole, on Bret Hart. And
the one thing about that, like, he called the spot, and Bret's like, "Oh, what's that mean?" It's like, Bret, you've been doing this way longer. He called a spot.
Yeah,
like, you should know, regardless if you're not. Oh, he also said they didn't go over it beforehand. That's what calling a spot is, man. You just do it right there.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. There's been those types of discrepancies in professional wrestling where, that wasn't what they originally discussed, and they went ahead and called an audible or this or that, or they did something different. Yeah. I mean, famously, Macho Man's known for meticulously planning his stuff out. Like planning out his entire matches. I mean, he had the WrestleMania 3 match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and he faxed him all of the spots, which is, I mean, coming from Macho Man, I'm not entirely surprised. Yeah. Or you have other guys who are like, yep, I'm not planning nothing out. I'll just call it in the ring, and then you have a mixed bag from here and there. And I don't think that people call it in the ring as much as they used to. From my understanding, I think they tend to plan things more out. Yeah. But, watch for the kick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like he where he said they didn't go over. It's like, well, you've probably at least seen a couple Goldberg matches beforehand. That's like one of his moves he always does. Yeah.
And on top of that, so digging around in this, okay, granted, I mentioned before, I stepped out of wrestling 2007. 2008, actually. It was 2008. Shortly after WrestleMania 24, in the whole Benoit stuff. So that was, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I didn't come back until 2015. SummerSlam 2015 was when I officially came back full force as a professional wrestling fan. So I kind of missed all of this. Yeah. I've always been under the impression that Bret has always had this heat towards Goldberg. I have discovered something, Josh. He hasn't. So according to this Reddit post, okay, I just... full disclosure, take it with a grain of salt. This is coming from Reddit. Yeah. But I found some interesting information. This is coming from the Squared Circle subreddit. In 2007, Bret, he wrote an autobiography about his life in wrestling. In the book, Bret had to say about Goldberg and the kick, quote, I was more responsible than anyone for downplaying my condition to myself and everyone else. I let myself go on believing that the problem was a sore neck. Now, for those of you that do not know, Bret, infamously had a concussion that shortened his career. He was done. And like what we just said a little bit ago, Bret wrestled 10 times after this initial match. He also said, quote, I've always had a lot of respect for Bill. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, and what happened, it was just part of the job. I do wish he had been a little more careful, but we've always been friends over the years, end quote. In 2012, Bret responded to a fan when asked about a grudge with Goldberg. His response was, quote, never had one. I have great respect for Goldberg. What happened to me was an accident, end quote. And then 2015, Bret posted a picture of him and Bill Goldberg hanging out. That's actually on Twitter. Pulling it up right now. And there it is. Yep, June 9th. Almost 9 years ago. Yep, right there it is, Josh, on my computer screen. So there's all of that. So it seems like right there, he was cool with them. Yeah. And I don't know what happened. Now, according to this subreddit, they're thinking it was 2016, like, I guess when Goldberg came back and all of that, and he got this hero's welcome, and I guess Bret, that soured on him.
And those big Saudi checks.
Yeah, and he got according to Bret, a $3 million check for a 10-minute match in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And this was apparently, this is a quote from him. He said that, he wishes he would send him something for it. I don't know.
That makes no sense. Like, it's been however many years.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's
Honestly, this is a big reason I've never really cared for Bret.
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I know. Excuse me. I know. Like I said, I know Bret is a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal technician. You cannot take that away from him. But Bret's personality, and granted, with the death of Owen and all of that, I know that it was rough on him around that time. I get that. The concussion happens, all of that. His career gets shortened when really and truly he could have probably went as long as Michaels.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on this. That's why it's one of the big reasons why I've never been that big about Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I couldn't get behind him very well. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm trashing the guy. I really don't. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
Never met Bret Hart. If I were to meet him, I would give him the utmost respect because that's what he deserves for what he's done in the professional wrestling business, regardless. I know we sit here and we joke about certain wrestlers and this and that. Tyrus. But at least I feel that's how we would approach somebody like that. If they were to come on here for an interview, or if we were to meet them at a convention,
Bret,
or
would like to interview.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against him, but there's evidence. I just clicked on it for Twitter. It showed there was a picture with you and Bill Goldberg in 2015 on June 9th in 2015 on your Twitter account. There's a picture of you and Bill Goldberg. Yeah. So, and here I am saying Bill Goldberg like him. I don't hate Bret.
Yeah.
I wish the best for him. But it seems suspicious when I did a little more digging on this.
Yeah.
It does. It seems very suspicious to me. And I don't know. I've never been there. I'm a dude that talks on the radio.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I give my opinion. I talk. I try to give, accurate information to the best that we can here. But looking at that, it just seems rather suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, nothing against Bret Hart. But yeah, and Bill and Goldberg did respond in the documentary saying, "Drop it. It was an accident.
Yeah.
It's it's done. It's over with."
And before he said he's apologized however many times. Just
I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't I feel like my view of Goldberg over the past several years was because of that time period where I was not in professional wrestling and had no idea of all of this. Because when I get back and the next thing I hear about Bret Hart is him and this beef that he's got with Goldberg.
Yeah.
That's the next thing I hear about Bret Hart. Knew who Bret Hart was before, but that's the next thing I hear about him several years later. So I don't know. Go out and do your own research on it. Look around, all that good stuff. If you haven't had a chance to see the new Who Killed WCW documentary on Vice, go and watch it. And like what we said, the first episode is for free on YouTube. The other ones are going to be behind paywalls.
Yeah, as of right now, 2 episodes are out. And the next one, I guess, is this week. And then
that's the last one, right?
The 3rd episode is this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure it's the 3rd episode.
Okay, and then they got one more after that. Okay. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more WWE, we're going to talk some AEW, and some international wrestling. So stay tuned.
It's time for more of the Grill Out. Here's Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grill Outs, episode 41. I don't think I said that in the last segment.
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did. Yeah. Well, I'm off my game. I'm your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty, and I'm joined by Josh Cole. Bye-bye.
Bret screwed Bret.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't ask Vince anything. Yeah. Just don't. Yeah. And but also, speaking of WWE, and one of the good things about Triple H taking over, one of the things I am very much enjoying with him, he does not care to work with other promotions.
No.
They are very much about working with other promotions. And with that being said, so Pro Wrestling Noah has an announcement, and because of when we are recording this, we haven't heard the announcement yet. But future me in 24 hours
From the future.
will hear the announcement. So I'm going to stop real quick. I'm going to throw it to future me, who's going to tell you what Pro Wrestling Noah announced. Thank you, me from the past. The announcement from Pro Wrestling Noah is that on July 13th at their destination event, it will be Naomichi Marufuji taking on the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Marufuji is the vice president for Pro Wrestling Noah. He was appointed in the position shortly after the death of the founder of Pro Wrestling Noah, Mitsuharu Misawa. Marufuji is also sort of the unofficial or official heir to Pro Wrestling Noah. Many people see him as like the person to, the next person after, unfortunately the death of Mitsuharu Misawa. I can't get too much into the details of this. I will follow up with it later on, most likely in the next episode where I have more time to expand upon this idea with Jason or Josh, whoever is my co-host that day, or both of them, so I can aggravate them with Japanese pro wrestling. So yes, it will be July 13th at the Budokan destination for Pro Wrestling Noah. It will be Naomichi Marufuji taking on the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. So let's take it back to Josh and me from the past. We're back. Thank you, future me.
Yeah.
Throwing it back to us. It does not... So the announcement from Noah does not... It doesn't surprise me because there has been talks from the president of Cyberfight, who is the parent company with Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT in them. He said, and this is coming from Yahoo.com, quote, last month, Yasuaki Okamoto, president of Cyberfight Incorporated, the parent company of Pro Wrestling Noah, made it clear that one of his goals was strengthening the relationship with WWE, end quote. Which is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, I do find it rather interesting that they're working. Well, I guess they've worked with All Japan as well.
Yeah. And they've previously worked with Noah with Muda's last match.
Yeah.
His tour, rather.
Yeah. The tour that he was doing for his retirement and everything. It does, Nakamura going in and doing that. I thought that was a really good gesture. I think that Pro Wrestling Noah, I think more wrestling fans should know about the history of that promotion. I think that pro wrestling fans need to know more about wrestling in general. That's just me. That's just this. You're talking to the guy who likes Japanese wrestling, and I'm loving the fact that all these Japanese wrestling promotions are starting to come in and work with American promotions, and then we have Mexican Lucha Libre promotions coming in and wanting to work with them and all this. I'm just liking it.
Yeah, and Forbidden Doors expanded to have Stardom and CMLL on it. So
yeah, and actually, speaking of Forbidden Door, they've announced 2 matches for it. It will be on June 30th. I'm very happy about this announcement because I'm such a huge Tetsuya Naito fan. Yeah. They announced that Naito will be challenging Jon Moxley for his... Moxley! Where's Justin Roberts when you need him? Will defend the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That has been confirmed. It was actually after Dominion when Moxley retained his title. He challenged anyone to come and step up to him, and of course, the ungovernable one, Tetsuya Naito, decided to step forward and say, "Hey, I'll accept your challenge." Yeah. If you've never watched Tetsuya Naito, he's awesome. He to me, top 10. Not just my all-time favorites. He's top 10, easy. So there's you've been to my house. There's a reason why I have a giant Naito blanket towel type deal hanging up in my living room. Yes, I'm that kind of guy. They've also announced Zack Sabre Jr. will be taking on Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. Sabre Jr. issued the challenge on Collision. So
there's also an open challenge that Jeff Cobb made for the NJPW World Television Championship. I think it's to any AEW roster member.
Yeah, it was. He issued it to the AEW roster. So, Forbidden Door, they're starting to build up to that. And yes, and I'm curious. I mean, they brought in Mina Shirakawa in from Stardom. They've been bringing in other acts. I would have loved to see Maki Ito come back. Mm-hmm. I think Maki Ito is great.
Yeah.
And then also Murder Grandpa.
Yeah.
Give me Minoru Suzuki. Please give me Minoru Suzuki. But yeah, like AEW has been working with New Japan, and you have noticed that there's been a lot of alliances drawn almost with wrestling promotions. Like New Japan is almost exclusive. It's pretty much exclusively working with AEW, therefore Ring of Honor and that, which kind of makes sense because they were working with Ring of Honor before AEW even became a thing. Yeah. And then, of course, you have Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan and the new promotion Marigold working with WWE. And speaking of Marigold, this is coming from FightfulSelect.com or Fightful.com. Quote, at the Marigold show this past Tuesday at Korakuen Hall, it was announced that WWE's Io Sky will be wrestling at their upcoming Ryogoku Sumo Hall show on July 13th, Summer Destiny 2024. She will be taking on Utami Hayashishita in a dream match between former Queen's Quest leaders. Yes, Utami and Io are both former leaders of Queen's Quest, which is a faction within Stardom.
I was about to ask what that was.
Yes, it's smacking the mic, Josh. Smacking the mic.
Sorry.
I think Io is the one that founded Queen's Quest, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm not entirely sure on that one. Hold on, I got Google in front of me. I will just quickly Google this. But yeah, no, both of them are former leaders of Queen's Quest, which is one of the factions within.
She was probably still Io Shirai then, I guess.
Yeah. She was the first leader of Queen's Quest. Let's see. This is coming from Wikipedia. On December 22nd, 2016, at Year-End Climax 2016, AZK and Momo Watanabe unsuccessfully challenged the guest team of Twisted Sisters, Holy Dead, and Thunder Rosa for the NWA Western States Tag Team Championships. Yeah, I think she is one of the founding members of Queen's Quest. So, and that's where she was. I don't want to say discovered, but that's where the bulk of like her best work was in Stardom with Queen's Quest.
Yeah.
So I think it's very cool. I have watched a few Utami matches in my day. She's phenomenal. She is great at what she does. You can tell she's very she's very in tuned with what she does in the ring. And I don't know this for sure, but I think she's taken some inspiration from Io. So, yeah. But yeah, at the time she was going by Io Shirai, and now she's going by Io Sky.
She was Io Shirai in NXT as well. Then when she came to the main roster, she came to Sky.
And that was when that was Triple H's first show, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it was that SummerSlam 21.
It was Damage Control, right?
Yeah, Damage Control.
Yeah, it was when.
If I remember correctly, the graphics still had Shirai.
Yeah.
The next show was Sky.
Yeah, and it's So what was it? It was Bailey, Io Sky, and
Dakota Kai.
And Dakota Kai that came out. Mm-hmm. So, man, time flies.
Yeah,
it really, really does. But yeah, so that's one of the working relationships between them, and of course, we have also have. They have the announcement coming from Pro Wrestling Noah. As of right now, we don't know it. Future me knows it. He's already said it in the program.
Yeah,
that's where
thanks,
we're.
Future you.
What is it?
So thanks, Future you.
Yeah, thanks, Future Jeff. Oh, the beauty of radio. Moving on and just sticking with WWE, Ricochet apparently is leaving WWE. Allegedly. This is coming from WrestleTalk.com. Quote, the June 10th episode of WWE Raw saw Ricochet written off television after an attack by Braun Breaker. The attack was followed by Ricochet being put on a stretcher and taken away in an ambulance with his real-life fiancée, Samantha Irvin, crying by his side. In doing that, WWE left the door ajar for Ricochet to return for revenge on Breaker, with PW PW Insider having reported there was talk of him making one more appearance to capitalize on the buzz surrounding the news, and although the angle would still work as a way to completely write him off TV as well, a few days later, WWE posted an update saying Ricochet had suffered injuries and would be out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. Again, meaning it could go either way as to whether he appears again or not.
Crazy enough, he appeared on Speed and defended his title, although he lost it to Andrade.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of...
Granted, that was taped a week beforehand.
It taped, kind of like how this show is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like Chad Gable when we were talking about that last week. I would put money on it that he was going to resign.
Yeah.
And he has.
Yeah.
He has re-signed with the company.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ricochet.
Yeah, and Will Ospreay kind of made a little shot at him. I don't know if you saw it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
He's been kind of poking Ricochet a little bit, trying to get him out of there, and then all of a sudden he asked for his release.
Yeah.
And here we are. I you know, in a way, I don't want Chad Gable leaving WWE.
Yeah.
I want him to stay, but part of me wants Ricochet to leave.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think there's anywhere for him to really go outside of Speed.
Yeah.
The whole WWE Speed stuff, I think that's the only place he could really be. I mean, if he stays, what's he going to do? Get fed the Braun Breaker?
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what they're setting it up for.
Yeah.
I mean, and I understand they don't really want another John Moxley situation where they lose Renee, because Moxley leaves, and then not too long, what was it, maybe a year or so after that, Renee left. Yeah. Because Samantha Irvin, hands down.
I love the fact that she actually requests that she does not know who wins the matches, so it's like a legitimate reaction.
Oh, that's what.
I know she did that with WrestleMania when Cody won. I don't know if she does it for every single one of them, but she did that with Cody winning.
Oh, okay. Well,
she had no idea who was winning.
so that way, it's kind of a shoot for her.
Like if you heard her crying, that was legit.
Oh man, I love that. See, I love her even more.
Yeah,
because I think she's phenomenal as a ring announcer.
Yeah,
I mean, she is the best ring announcer that WWE has had since, I don't know how everybody feels about this, Lillian Garcia. I thought, so you had Howard Finkel.
Yeah.
Howard Finkel, GOAT.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch those old WWE shows, Attitude Era, Golden Era, whatever. The WWE, the whole Howard Finkel thing. Okay, the Fink was GOAT status.
Yeah.
I think after him, that title sort of went over to Lillian Garcia.
Yeah.
I thought Tony Schimmel was great. I thought he was a perfect voice for SmackDown, but I always felt Lillian Garcia was the better announcer.
Yeah. She actually came back recently for a quick appearance.
Yeah, she had an appearance with Samantha.
She let her do the announcement for that one match or whatever.
Yeah. So Lillian Garcia leaves. Nobody really stepped up.
Justin Roberts was there, but he was told he couldn't be quite as, I guess, I don't know, charismatic as he is now.
Yeah, he has a little more freedom with that in AEW.
Yeah.
But I feel like that Samantha Irvin has stepped in and sort of taken that role.
Yeah.
I do. I think some people don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't think you have good taste in my mind. That's my opinion.
Chelsea Green.
Even though I still don't know why she got told that not to do that no more.
I don't know. They've actually, I don't know if you heard her recent theme edit now. Mm-hmm. They actually put that in the beginning.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that.
Yeah. So it's officially a part of her theme.
Okay. Well, yeah. It was a nice touch from Samantha Irvin. But yeah, I do. I think she is. I think she's phenomenal. But yeah, I kind of understand it. But I don't want to see Ricochet stay.
Yeah.
I just don't, because I just feel like he's just going to get fed to Braun, and then he's just going to get shuffled around at that point. And he's just. Ricochet is another one.
I mean, if anything, maybe go back to NXT and do some stuff there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like, maybe he would be better under Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll keep you updated on that. I wanted to see Chad Gable stay, but part of me wants to see Ricochet leave, but that's me. But just sticking with WWE, Uncle Howdy, apparently there was, this is coming from the Sportster.com, quote, Uncle Howdy left another teaser for WWE fans, this time on the main site of WWE.com. The post title is, 'Hello,' and it appears to be a poem warning fans that a massacre is coming. The debut date seems to be June 17th. Tomorrow or tonight, depending on if you're listening to this on 1490 WSWW.
Then on SmackDown, they actually had a timer pop up.
Oh, yeah.
That counts down to Monday.
Yep. And it appears to be Monday Night Raw. Like I said, either tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're listening to this, or yesterday if you're listening to this on a Tuesday.
Or 2 days ago.
Yeah, or a couple days ago. Whenever you're listening to this. In Corpus Christi, Texas.
Of all places.
The worst wrestling town ever.
I'm sorry, WWE. This isn't going to get them to be better.
No, it's not. Corpus Christi, I'm sure it's a lovely, lovely city. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they're phenomenal people there, but they suck as a wrestling as a wrestling
it doesn't
crowd.
matter what promotion, because they suck for AEW too.
They suck for AEW. They suck for WWE. Yeah. I'm sure if you go find some old NWA tapes of them running Corpus Christi, Texas, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
I don't know why that town is just it just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
And especially, and this will go suck even more. They're leaving Glasgow. They're leaving an international crowd, which these international crowds have been hot.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go to Corpus Christi, Texas, which again sucks.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that. Corpus Christi sucks as a wrestling town, and apparently, allegedly, this is where Uncle Howdy and the unofficial Wyatt Six is going to debut.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can't, sometimes you got some things are out of your control. And this is just how things lined up. I don't know. Maybe Corpus Christi will surprise us.
Maybe.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but maybe. Just Corpus Christi, Texas sucks as a wrestling town.
We need Jason here. We'll do a prediction if this will go well or not.
I know.
Put the title on the line.
Yeah, the champion needs to be here. Oh, yeah. So apparently that is allegedly where the debut of Uncle Howdy and, like I said, the unofficial Wyatt Six is going to be.
Yeah.
Of all places.
Yeah.
Of all places. Corpus Christi, Texas.
Good Lord.
Yeah, good Lord. You know what? They don't got no charisma.
It's just pure chaos.
It is. They have zero charisma in that city, in that town. I don't understand. And honestly, and you can confirm this. That was my exact reaction when you sent it to me. It's like, of all places, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Nope.
And it's like, like I said, it's you're leaving an international crowd going to Corpus Christi. Okay. I'm not the one scheduling this stuff. That's above my pay grade.
Well, if you don't want to go there, you can go to Arby's and get you a WWE sandwich.
The 5 for $5. Yeah. Is that what it is? What's the deal on that?
What is the deal? I don't know. It's some kind of 5 for $5 deal.
Oh yeah. Probably like 5 roast beef sandwiches for $5. Yeah.
I'm actually hungry now.
You know, in this economy, I might take that. In this economy, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So speaking, not so much since we're on the subject of crowds, one of the more interesting wrestling crowds in the world, in my opinion, is Japanese wrestling crowds. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is they are not like. With American crowds, it's a hit or miss, right? With UK crowds, they're always wild.
Yeah.
With just international crowds in general, they're kind of wild, but UK especially because of all the chants and stuff. One of the more interesting crowds, though, is a Japanese wrestling crowd. The reason for that is they start off very, very quiet because they want to. They are showing their respect towards the art form that is professional wrestling, and they gradually get louder and louder.
Yeah.
Carl Anderson and them have talked about this and talked about how that's sort of a culture shock for them when they first started wrestling in Japan. So, one of my favorite tournaments of the year, the G1 Climax, is having something special this year. So the previous few years, they've went with 4 blocks. So they had A block, B block, C block, and D block. Traditionally, for years up until they started doing that, it was always A and B block. Now, these tournaments are round-robin tournaments, and what that means, it's not a single elimination. They go off of a point system. So 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no points for a loss. And whoever has the most points at the end of the tournament in these respective blocks goes on to into a final, and it's sort of a sudden death at that point, and that winner goes on to challenge the go on to main event Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. Well, this year they're doing something a little bit different. They're going to go back to the A and B block. Okay, 18 entrants will be revealed at New Japan Soul actually tonight. So next week we'll go ahead and we'll give you all the entrants on that. 18 of them will be revealed, but 2 more will be determined with a play-in qualifier tournament taking place during the New Japan Soul Tour and ending with the finals in Tokyo Budokan July 5th. Once the G1 proper gets underway, this is coming from New Japan's website. Once the G1 proper gets underway, after 20-minute time limits during the G1 33, this year's league will be back to 20 minutes. So before they were doing 20-minute time limits, now they're going back to 30-minute time limits. And, of course, the point system is still the same. This year, though, it will be the top 3 finishers that advance. So you have A and B block. Whoever's in that top 3 will advance on. Second and third place finishers will face off in Makuhari on August 15th, with the top point scorer receiving a bye to Ryogoku on August 17th. Their semifinals will determine an overall winner for each block to compete in the grand finale on August 18th. So, yes, those are the changes that are coming to the G1 Climax, and this year is actually the 34th year for the G1. So, if you never had a chance to watch it, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
And here's why. You may not be able to catch every show live, okay? But make you like what I've done before. I've literally had a scorecard. Like I've put down who all the participants are, and I've wrote down what their points are. That way, I sort of keep track of who's doing it. I haven't done it in the past few years. But it is an interesting way to go about professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yes, the G1 Climax is coming up. Like I said, they're going to announce the participants. Future Me probably has that information, but we're not going to tap into him again. Yeah. We already have once earlier in this segment. So yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close the middle segment out there. When we return, we will have On This Day in Wrestling History and the main event. Stay tuned.
Once again, here's Hollywood Jeff Petty.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, to the Grill Out. I'm your host, Hollywood Jeff Petty. That is Josh Cole. Bye-bye.
It is me.
And you just yabbed for the first time in the show.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, I've got a question before we get into this.
What?
Don't you start that with me. Don't you start that with me. I know how to combat that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. Why is it when both of you are here, there's Yaz all the time?
Yeah.
But when it's only one of you, because it was like that before when it was just Jason in here and you had to step out. And there wasn't that much What is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm confused. That's the first you've had this whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
On this day in wrestling history. June 15th, 1992, WCW Clash of the Champions 19 NWA World Tag Team Title Tournament was held in Charleston, South Carolina.
Not West Virginia.
Yeah, it caught me off guard there when I was first reading it. The show was the first round of a tournament to crown the new NWA Tag Team Champions and would air on June 22nd. The main event was the first match in the quarterfinals, in which Steve Williams and Terry Gordy defeated the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner.
I think Jason was very sad that day.
He probably was. He probably was. Actually, he's probably listening to the show right now and screaming at whatever device he's listening to this on because I mentioned the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
June 16th, my bad. June 16th. That was actually June 16th, 1992. June 16th, 1998, at a taping of WWF Monday Night Raw in Austin, Texas.
What?
Edge made his in-ring debut against Jose Estrada Jr. Not long into the match, Edge launched himself to the outside onto Estrada, legitimately injuring Estrada's neck, meaning he couldn't get back in the ring before the 10 count. Edge would go on to be one of the most successful wrestlers in the company's history, winning the Royal Rumble twice, the King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, and over 30 championship titles. He was actually the first winner of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
He's the inaugural winner. So, and cashed that in at, what was it? New Year's resolution? Revolution.
Yeah, Revolution.
Yeah, New Year's.
John Cena, right after he had retained in an Elimination Chamber match.
Yep. And honestly, that right there kind of like set the tone for the Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just had something, not exactly like that, but we had something similar to that this past year at WrestleMania with Damian Priest pinning Drew McIntyre, who was too focused on CM Punk.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Moving on, June 16th, 2019. On day 3 of NJPW Kizuna Road 19 in Tokyo, Japan, El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship belts when they beat Roppongi 3K, Sho, and Yo. And that is all of On This Day in Wrestling History. Question: Do you learn things from this segment? Don't you? Okay. And if you're out there listening to this and you learn things from that segment, email us thegrillout95@gmail.com. Also, send us a message on Facebook.
Yeah,
we've been getting a lot of traffic through there.
Yeah, we have, and more likes and stuff.
Yeah, so thank
growing.
you. Yes, keep it growing. It's very cool to see people coming, hopping on there and showing their support, and we appreciate it. And yeah, if you want anything to say to us, you want to, we may even say it on the show. You can send us a message on there. You can email us, thegrillout95@gmail.com, and whoever's actually using my email illegally, please quit using it illegally.
I mean, let us have a share of that. What was it, the VPN they bought or whatever?
Yeah, they bought like a VPN or something. I don't know. I ain't got it. I mean, I said something to whoever it was for it, but still, they still pop up. It's a losing battle. Yeah. So, anyway, moving on, our last segment, the main event. This is what will be going on locally. First off, Thursday, June 20th, Appalachian Championship Wrestling continues its Buffalo Wild Wings season with Taking Care of Business. This is a free show. This is a free show that will be held in the parking lot of the Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Hope, West Virginia. Meet and greet is at 6:30, and bell time is 7. Seating is very limited, so bring your own chair. This event will feature Suicide from Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, as well as Caleb Conley, who has also performed in TNA as well for the National Wrestling Alliance and Ring of Honor.
He's also portrayed Suicide.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I mean, if you don't see him in the same place here, they might be the same person here.
Also, these events that Appalachian Championship Wrestling puts on, the free events at Buffalo Wild Wings, they bring in like people who don't typically watch wrestling.
Yeah,
I've noticed on my socials that people who I know that are not wrestling fans per se will go to events like this.
Yeah,
and that kind of because it's funny because I see one person go to an event like that and then they turned around and they went to micro wrestling.
Huh.
So they went there a few nights later. So I don't know.
It's great that it's on a Thursday because they have that BOGO deal on the boneless wings. So
that's true. Get you some wings.
Yeah.
The rest of these are on June 22nd. Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance will be at the Short Gap Volunteer Fire Department in Ridgely, West Virginia for their 15-year anniversary show. Bell time is at 7 p.m. Front row is $25. Second row is $20. And general admission is $18. Elite Pro also does regular shows typically every Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Indie Theater in Kaiser, West Virginia. And these shows are $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. West Virginia Wrestling Federation and Mountain Mama Wrestling will have a joint show at the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Bell time is at 7 o'clock, and tickets are $10. I love that name, Mountain Mama Wrestling.
Yeah, it's actually a brand new promotion. It's a women's promotion too.
Yeah, it's an all women's promotion, right?
It's basically West Virginia Wrestling Federation's women's division, but their own promotion now.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I really enjoy the name.
From my understanding, like these first few events, they'll have joint shows, but later on, they're actually going to have their own shows.
Oh, okay, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Premier Wrestling League Mid-Atlantic will be at the Mullins Veterans Building in Mullins, West Virginia. Bell time is at 6:30 p.m. Front row is $15, and general admission is $10. Real Shoot Wrestling.
It's real.
Yes, it is real. We're live. Real Shoot Wrestling presents The Art of Violence at the Canal Lounge in Buchanan, West Virginia. Bell time is at 7 o'clock, and tickets are $10. But this show is for ages 21 and up only.
Because it's violent.
Yes. It's called The Art of Violence for a reason. And finally, for your local wrestling, you have World Domination Wrestling Alliance will be in action for Over the Top at the Bennington Volunteer Fire Department in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Bell time is 6:15 p.m. and tickets are $20. This event will feature a 20-man Rumble match.
Yeah.
And that's all of your stuff for local wrestling. As far as nationally, our normal stuff.
There is a special thing with NXT, a 25-man Battle Royal, which might have some other people from non-WWE promotions in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all this talk about WWE working with other people. Okay.
Yeah, Cody teased that other locker rooms might be involved. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, keep an eye on that. That will be on Tuesday night. Yep. Of course, Monday will be Monday Night Raw. Wednesday will be AEW Dynamite. Thursday will be Ring of Honor.
Yes.
And TNA.
I think so.
Yes, we get confused on this. Friday will be SmackDown and Rampage, and then, of course, Saturday will be Collision.
Money Bank qualifiers also begin this week.
Yes, so keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that will be our show.
Yeah.
Again, like what we said, go like the Facebook page. Send us a message on there telling us what you think of the show. You can also email us, thegrillout95@gmail.com.
Tell us how you miss Jason.
Yes, tell us how much you miss him or how much you don't want us to bring him back. And until next time, fellow wrestling fans, have a good one.